Hey, folks, welcome to another episode of Cutter One. I am your host, Jay Just Jay, your resident troublemaker and your resident culture warrior. Hope you're all doing well. All right, folks, interesting story coming out of Hollywood. This is coming from MovieWeb and MovieWeb.com, I should say, and it's Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves exceeds all projections at the box office with a $71.5 million global opening. The latest adaptation of the role-playing game hits the #1 spot this weekend at the box office, and this is by Macca Reynolds. So yeah, I mean, right out of the gate, it's done well. Okay, it's a great time for game-based cinema, whether it's board games or video games. Um, sorry. With the success of The Last of Us and the performance of Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves in its opening weekend, it seems that Hollywood has finally found a way to bring those vast universes to the screen, either the big one or the small one. Deadline reports that the new epic, directed by John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein, managed to outperform John Wick 4 during its debut weekend, grossing $38.5 million. However, it still has a long way to go to at least double its $150 million budget. The third spot at the top of the box office was earned by an always steady Scream 6, which is still a firm competitor against these other blockbusters. Sorry about that, folks. I just had the sudden need to sneeze and don't know why. Let's see what else we got here. With the projection of 65 million globally, the film also manages to surprise, reaching 71.5 million. This is surely due to the excellent reviews from the media and fans who have marveled at this new universe that will surely become a franchise very soon. Additionally, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves received an A- in CinemaScore, an excellent rating compared to other productions of this style. Although, of course, the real competition will start next week when the Super Mario Bros. Movie hits theaters. What Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves about? The film adaptation of the first ever role playing game, the story follows a charming thief and a band of incredible adventurers who go on an epic heist to recover a lost relic. But things go horribly wrong when they run into the wrong people. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves stars Chris Pine, Sophia Lillis, Regé Jean Page, Michelle Rodriguez, Daisy Head, and Hugh Grant, amongst others. D&D is a heroic fantasy role-playing game published by Wizards of the Coast. The original game was designed by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson and was first published in 1974 by Gygax's company, Tactical Studies Rules, TSR. Originally derived from board games played with pencil, paper, and dice, the first release of Dungeons and Dragons is well known as the beginning of modern role-playing games. This is the second attempt to bring the game to the big screen. In 2000, a movie called Dungeons and Dragons was released in cinemas. Its sequel was directly made for TV in 2005, followed by a third in 2006. Yes, and we don't talk about those movies. But yeah, a little bit of interesting news. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that that it did so well, 71.5 million, and it beat John Wick. If you had asked me last week about that, I would have said probably not. I would have probably, if you asked me to bet on it, I would have not. I would have bet that it would not. It might come in second to John Wick, but that it would beat it. But yeah, so Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves has a 71.5 million global opening day, or opening weekend, I should say. Now, a couple of things to take away from this. For starters, for all those people that said, "Oh, there's all these people that are gonna hate on it because you've got people of color, and it's not all about white straight people and stuff, and therefore you have all the istophobes are gonna come out and hate it." Well, now you can all shut the fuck up, right? Because it's been proven that no, if you make an entertaining movie and a decent movie and a movie that adheres to what one would expect from a Dungeons and Dragons movie, that we'll go see it. and we'll support it and stuff like that. So it has done well. Clearly the fans have spoken, the public has spoken, and it came in number 1 for the box office. You can't deny that. All the reviews that I'm seeing from a lot of the places that I follow are saying it's good. It's decent. They're saying it's not Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings quality, right? But it's damn good. It's not what they expected. It's better than what they expected. That's what I'm seeing is the general gist that I'm getting out there in the space. So I'm take it for what it is. Yeah, it did better than expected and it outperformed John Wick. Now it will be interesting to see how it does next weekend with the Easter weekend. And with the Mario Brothers film coming out. Now, the Mario Brothers film has its share of controversy associated with it. So it'll be interesting to see if that becomes a factor, right? Because you have it's almost like you have this weird dynamic that will be there, right? Because you'll have the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which all the quote unquote progressives, for lack of a better term, said, oh, all the istophobes are going to hate on this movie because you have a strong female character, i.e., Michelle Rodriguez's character. And you have women taking the lead, and there was that whole article about how they emasculated the male characters, and you have like non-white characters, and they said, oh, all the istophobes are going to come out and hate on this movie, right? Well, clearly it was the number 1 movie of the weekend, so they were proven wrong there. But next week with the Mario Brothers movie, what you have is you sort of have the inverse of that, right? Because in the Mario Brothers movie, it was all, and I hate to say this, but the main people complaining about the Mario Brothers movie were more in the camp of those that would be considered woke, right? They were saying the cast was too white, right? That you had this like sort of conservative male, i.e., Chris Pratt, right, doing the voice of Mario, right, and people don't like him because of church associations and so on and so forth. So you would have all the people on the that were traditionally be considered on the left of the spectrum, sort of speaking out against it and having reasons why they wouldn't support that film. So it'll be interesting to see these two films head to head because clearly, right, the people that would be considered the istophobes, right, by the mainstream, right, the istophobes, right, all these incel white dudes with their male fragility and their white fragility and stuff like that, that were supposed to be hating the Dungeons and Dragons movie, actually didn't. It's the number 1 movie of the weekend, so clearly a large portion of the public is going to see this movie and support it, and good on them. I mean, if it's a good entertaining movie, right, that's what I've always said. It doesn't matter if you have strong women or non-white characters, tell a good story and entertain people, make it entertaining again, make going to the movies fun again, and people will show up, right? And that's what Dungeons and Dragons shows. So but it'll be interesting seeing it have to go against Mario and seeing how these two things play out, because if Mario gets trounced, it'll just show that it's actually the wokesters are the ones that are like, I'm not going to support your movie because it doesn't fit my ideals, as opposed to they always try to project that onto people who they consider on the right. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to get into a whole political discussion. I'm actually just impressed that the Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves film exceeded all the expectations for it, and it has made $71.5 million globally in its opening weekend, which was far more than people were projecting it was going to make. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Have you gone and seen it? If so, let us know what you thought of it down in the comment section below. As a channel and a group of folks that we're all focused about fantasy and high fantasy and Lord of the Rings and Dragonlance and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. If you have gone and seen this movie opening weekend, or you're planning, if you have gone and seen it opening weekend, let us know in the comment section what you thought of it. Okay, strictly as a Dungeons and Dragons, or a fantasy fan. Right? Let us know how do you stack up this film, right? If you're planning on seeing it, let me know as well. Now that I'm hearing some good things about it, I might actually go, maybe if I have some time next weekend or something, and check it out. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'll be curious to hear what you folks have to think, or have to say, I should say. I'm sorry. All right, so that's going to do it for me. I just wanted to get that out there that yes, Dungeons and Dragons has exceeded expectations and has taken the number one spot on its opening weekend. Thereby, everybody who said like, "Oh, all the white incel dudes aren't going to go support this movie," they're just going to hate on it and stuff like that. Well, you were proven wrong, and now you can shut up because you clearly don't know what you're talking about. Everybody's liking the movie apparently. It's got great reviews. I'm seeing as like the critics are giving it in the 90s as far as the score goes, as well as audiences. So that's interesting. Yeah, but we'll have to see how it plays out. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, if you like the video, then like the video. If you want to share the video, by all means, share the video. It helps us get seen and helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you have not subscribed yet, I would hope that you would consider subscribing and turn that red subscribe button gray, and join the army of beautiful badasses where we talk about fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons and Dragonlance and Elder Scrolls and all of that stuff. If you are a returning subscriber, as always, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys and gals are the reasons why I do this. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, remember to be good, be awesome, be safe, but more importantly, stay more dorkish. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.